Sweet. Are you guys ready for 31 through 40?
I can't wait to see how high Tim's got his Foundations of Rome.
Oh, hold your breath, buddy. Hey guys, I'm Tim.
I'm Bob.
I'm Mike.
And this is Board Game Rundown. And today, if you're watching, thank you, because hopefully you've watched 50 through 41. And today we're going to do 40 through 31 of our top 50 games of all time. We used Pub Meeple to rank, and basically the only other rule is that I think we have all abided by is that all the games are out.
Yes.
I might have one that's technically not out as of this filming, but it's I have got to play the pre-production copy.
Yeah, sure.
So it's
Cheating.
done. It's done. It's being prepared to load on boats, so it's basically done.
See, here's the thing: is if it doesn't land in somebody's mailbox in this calendar year,
it might. Yeah, probably not, but it might. It's going to be close.
Okay.
Pushing the
I think it's supposed to
envelope.
be, yeah,
Well, it's
Generally
Bob's list.
speaking, retail available games.
generally speaking.
And if you watched the last episode
You know,
and you're keeping track,
Tim's is perfect.
just bet now over under 2 games. We'll say over under 2.5
Okay.
games that they talk about that I forgot to rank.
This is why Tim needs to log games more consistent.
Or
You are correct.
link his BG stats also.
Have I argued against either of those points?
No, but have you done them since we last spoke?
That's not the question I asked. You cannot.
You did not
answer my
argue,
question.
but we also have not belabored that point yet. So we're making sure we cover that now.
That's right.
All right. So yeah, we're gonna go through 40 through 31, and everything is perfect and set in stone.
That's right. Number 40. 40. So my number 40, man, get ready with the beep button faster, quickly, because it's basically like a version of bullshit that I love. It's called Cockroach Poker.
Yeah.
And normally I'm not big on like playing games where you're like, lying to your friends all the time, but this is just like, no, seriously, it's a cockroach. It's not a cockroach, it's a fly. It's a cockroach. And then Tim is now stuck with that cockroach. And if he gets 4 of those cockroaches, he loses, and everybody else is a winner. And that's always a good game when you just have one loser and a bunch of winners, especially when that loser's Tim.
Yeah, I'll talk about this game later.
Cockroach Poker, it's a great game though. There's a bunch of different versions of it too.
Sure.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah, Cockroach Poker is so much.
Card shedding is the basic mechanism behind it, but you are lying to your friends a little bit.
Yeah, or you can tell the truth the whole time.
Or you can tell the truth the whole time. And I think that's West's strategy when he plays. He's like, no, I tell the truth every time.
Yeah, and then he throws in that. He says that.
He says that, and then he's like, oh, okay, well, I guess it is. Oh, it's not. You said you tell the truth every time.
Well,
Except this one time.
yeah, exactly. All right, my number 40 is, I guess, no, I don't. This is the engine builder that I really, really enjoy. I know last week they talked about Andromeda's Edge and some stuff like that, but I want a game, an engine builder that gives me stuff and I feel good doing it, and that's Forges of Ravenshire. Great artwork, really fun, tons of choices. I always feel like I can do stuff in this game. I always feel competitive because there's so many spaces and things you can do. You place the die, you get resources based on the number that you put down and the spot you put it. And then you're going to go and pick up anywhere else on the board, including the same location, a different die, and get resources based on that. You're going to put them all in there. You're going to put those die on your tableau, and you're going to run those guilds.
Depending on the color of the die.
Depending on the color of the die. You're going to run those guilds, going to give you more stuff. And then once everybody's placed all their die and everything, then you've got that manufacturing phase, right?
Production
That
phase.
forge phase. You're just going through and now you're going to move all those die over and assign them to different parts on the other side of your player board. And you're just cranking out stuff, building all these cool weapons and armor. And there's tons of ways to mitigate what you're doing. Very cool. I love this game. And yeah, I mean, we're friends with the designer, but we saw this game very early.
Right, yeah, saying that's kind of almost here or there because this game, yes, we were involved early with it, right? And we did a bunch of like the teach videos and whatnot. They left us like one of the early copies and we did some playthroughs.
Yeah.
I actually worked for BA Games booth demoing this game for them a few times because I enjoyed it so much. And the fact that I went to a meetup 2 or 3 weeks ago, and I pulled this game out because I wanted to play it again. Like, it says something about a game where you can play this game a ton, you can teach it a ton, and you still want to reach for it, grab it out, and play it. It's fantastic. I will talk about this more in the future.
Yeah.
My new favorite cozy game. It just gives me just enough to think about without really having to crunch my brain. Very satisfying and fun to play.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of this game.
Yeah.
So it's my number 40.
Nice.
Nice. I got an old one that's fallen down a little bit. It's Quacks of Quedlinburg.
Hey, great game.
Great little engine builder with some bag building. It's just fun building up that bag and seeing what stuff you pull on those last few rounds. Even if you don't play well, it's still a blast to play.
Yeah.
It's just been a while since I've played it, so it's fallen down a little bit.
Yeah, it's one of those games where you push your luck, and I don't really care if I'm winning or losing because I'm still just having fun. Just doing
fun.
It. Yeah,
It's a great game.
Yep.
It's a great game.
Sounds
I talked
good.
about it last week.
Yeah. All right, so now number 39.
Ooh.
My number 39, everybody knows I love hidden movement, and this is probably my favorite hidden movement game, as long as I get to be the one, because playing as Jack the Ripper and trying to evade my friends is so much fun. You've got the opening stage where you can kind of like move pieces around. The cops have their, and there's like some, a little bit of like cat and mouse, where it's like, because you have these black circles on there, and some of them are colored, some of them are not. So you're bluffing a little bit, like, oh, I'm moving over here, or am I? And some of like the little white bits have like a red circle on them, which is where the wretched could be or could not be, and those are moving around. Or are they?
Right.
And I love, like, you can build that tension, and as soon as you want blood in the streets, you put a red marker down, you know I'm right there, and that's where I killed somebody, and now you have to try to find me before I get back to my hideout. I love playing this game. I got to play it.
Really good.
Yeah, it's one of my favorite hidden moves. It's not quite as fun if you're playing as the police officers, which that's why I only recommend having 2 or 3 police officers. You can play with up to 5.
Yeah, too many.
And if you have 5, then you kind of you're doing your one dude, and you're kind of like, okay, well, I'm done. But at least if you're playing with just 2 or 3, everybody's got multiple people. So you do have multiple things that you can do, because if you have your one guy and you're way over here and the murder happened way over here, you're like, well, I'm not making it over there. So basically I'm just doing nothing this whole time.
Yeah, I mean, you might be trying. I guess you could be like, well,
you can give input, and whatnot.
I think he's got to get over here.
Right, like, okay, well, yeah, he's got to be somewhere around here, like for his hideout maybe, but I say playing as Jack, and like you have this map where you're moving on the numbered spots, and then you've got like back alley tokens where you can cut through like the back alleys. You've got carriage tokens where you could like go 2 spaces and actually move through where police officers are at, and kind of bluffing with that because they think you're in one spot and you use one. They he went past us, he went that way, but you did instead. You just kind of like circled back the other way. And now you're just kind of going down over here and just throwing them off your scent. Like, I love doing
Super
that.
fun.
That cat and mouse is so much fun for me.
By the way, that game is Letters from Whitechapel.
I said Letters from Whitechapel.
I don't think you did.
I did.
I don't remember.
I did. Rewind the tape. My number 39, everybody knows I love hidden movement, and this is probably my favorite hidden movement game, as long as I get to be the one, because playing as Jack the Ripper and trying to evade my friends is so much fun. See, it's right there. Okay.
I'll be proud to be I'll stand corrected.
That's right.
Oh, well, I
Pretty
can't
sure
wait
it's
to see what kind of iconography or things are put over you guys, or you're right or wrong.
I'll have a dunce cap on or something
Yes.
in post-production.
Dunce him. Unless I was wrong, in which case, let's just move on.
Oh, man. My 39 is also maybe one of my favorite hidden movement games. It is not Letters from Whitechapel. This has fallen a bit, but it's because I haven't played it. But I really love Mind Management, the psychic espionage game. There's so many things I love about this game because the team of people that are trying to find the one, like the way that you can do that, and your asymmetric player powers, and then there's like Easter eggs in there, and then that one player is like, going around trying to meet all of these different, sort of objectives, right? Visiting these different locations, getting those kind of things. And then, but then if I win, well, now that unlocks a power for the next time we play where
For the
other team. And if the other team wins, well, now the hidden movement person has got another power, and there's all these different things you can unlock. There's things in there's just like things in the book you can find, and
There's a lot of Easter, a lot of hidden things,
and you can print out. Like it's going to take you to a website, and you can enter in these things, and you might find hidden cards and extra rules and things in there, which then you can print out and add to your game. It's just very cool. I love the art, the vibe, the style of this. I love when the dry erase little discs that you put as clues. Like, oh, we know that Bob was here on turn 3. You know what I mean? Or like, you know.
Yeah, like this one didn't land for me as well as it landed for you.
Yeah.
I don't mind it, but there's other ones I'd rather play as far as hidden movement.
I see what you did there.
Yeah.
But yeah, Mind Management, the psychic espionage game, I really
Did you
love.
manage to mention all of the Easter eggs?
I tried to mention as many as I could without
Without
spoiling.
spoilers. Yeah, no spoilers.
Okay. My number 39 is Chinatown.
Woo! Good game.
I just love the player interaction from start to finish. This is like Gamer's Monopoly for me. It's you get some businesses, and then you're going to get some numbered properties, and then there's a trading phase. So you literally just open communication, trade anything and everything you want, including money, which most money wins at the end of the game. Once you're done trading, you get to place your properties on the board. If they're not connected, they're just going to score as individuals, but you need to connect them and try to complete full sets of each business to get max income at the end of each round. You're going to collect income based on the buildings you've placed down.
Yeah.
And that's it. It's very simple to learn. It's very easy to teach. I've taught this to tons of different people that are not heavy into the games that really enjoy it. And you'd be surprised at the people that will win a game of Chinatown because they'll play like, oh, well, nobody wants to trade with me. And then like grandma ends up winning the game because she guilt trips everybody to make her favorable trades. Chinatown just works for me. I love this game so much. I take it to meetups all the time. I just think it's a great game for tons of player interaction that does not overstay its welcome.
I think it would be more interesting if you could keep your properties hidden. Because if you could see somebody's, well, you've got 4 of those already. They give you a 5th one. That's going to complete your whole set. So, no, I'm not going to trade it to you. But if you could keep your information hidden and then be able to negotiate and haggle and then
yeah, but then you
like,
got to pay attention to
harder to
what
trade.
everybody's getting like the whole time.
How are you going to know what to trade?
Because you can still ask, like, hey, does anybody have one of these? I'll trade you. You know?
Well, how many do you have?
I think being able to see
You
what
could tell the
everybody
truth
has.
or you could lie about it, right? Like, that sounds like more fun. I've only got 2 of those. Or do
I think that would ruin. I think that would ruin the trading phase. There's no way I'm going to remember what everybody has.
You don't have to remember what everybody has. Let's try it. We should try it sometime.
ruin the
should
trading
try it.
phase. I'm sorry.
I'd be down to try
Yeah,
it.
be able to try it, right?
Sure. What's the worst
Let's
case
workshop
scenario?
it, yeah.
You play a version of the game.
Testing
you
my
don't know?
memory in any game is a recipe for failure.
Don't
So,
try to remember it. Just
Yeah.
fast and loose,
Ugh.
Mike.
Fast and loose, man.
Ugh,
Just enjoy life a little bit.
right.
that stresses me out thinking of playing that game that way.
Yeah, see, I want to play without the perfect information because to me that people meta it too much. Like they're too much. Like, well, no, I'm not going to try this because you have too many and this
Well,
and that. It's like,
people
I
that don't want to trade, you just don't play Chinatown with.
Well, sure.
That's what makes it fun. You got to make
Number-
I just don't want to play
Th-
games with people that are going to meta everything.
Yeah,
That's right.
there you go.
Okay, that's fair. So number 38. My number 38. I have Tim to thank for this, unfortunately.
Oh,
so
yeah.
don't let him know that. But Lunar Rush.
Oh, yeah. Good game.
I love this game. And like we met these guys at a Gen Con. Tim had them come to our booth and said, you should sit on this game and you should play it because I think you're going to like it. I did.
Guess what?
I did it
good.
number 38 enough. But you have a place on the planet, and there's stuff on the moon, and you're sending ships up there. You can send a fast ship, but it can't hold as much. You can send a slow ship, takes longer to get there, more turns, but you can carry more stuff. You're building facilities and mining resources on the moon, and then you're shipping that stuff back. Same scenario, fast ships can carry a few, but bigger ships are slower, but they can carry more. And when you get back to Earth with all those resources, you're selling them all. And then depending where that variable market is at, you're going to get more or less for it because, oh, Mike got their last turn with more of those resources, and now they're not worth as much. Or, aha, I got there before Mike, and now mine are going to be worth more. And that slow ship that's coming in, they ain't going to be worth jack squat. And that's just, that timing is so much fun, and the components on it are great. They've got some foily cards that you can get that are really cool looking.
And it plays pretty quick too.
It plays
Hour and
pretty
a half.
quick.
Like,
Yeah.
If you get people that aren't overthinking it.
Yeah, 60 to 90 minutes. So and that's it. But yeah, Lunar Rush was fantastic. So
Excellent.
thanks, Tim.
Excellent game. It just misses my top 50, but yeah, timing the market is very satisfying in this.
Yeah, when you can nail it, it feels good.
Yeah, or like at the first turn you send that slow ship out, and then a couple turns later you send a quick ship, and then both those ships land at the same time, and you get all that stuff at one time. It's juicy.
Very fulfilling turns in this game.
Yep.
All right, so my 38 is new to the list, and it is new to me this year. This game really surprised me and kind of blew me away. I really cannot wait to play this with you guys. Like, this is a game I don't know. I just want to share it with other people because I think it was super fun and really neat, obviously, because I got it at my 38. And I'm talking about Monster Hunter World, the board game.
Ooh, yeah, okay.
Because what you're going to do is you're going to decide what kind of monster you're going to hunt. You could do that for a plethora of reasons. Like maybe this monster is going to give me these kind of resources if I can kill it, because then I'm trying to craft these kind of weapons.
Right.
So then, okay, we're going to hunt this thing. Now you're going to go through the book and you've got like a path. And so you're going to make these choices, like you go, this way or that way. And then you're going to go to that numbered paragraph and you're going to go through. And that's going to affect all these different things. You might be gaining additional sort of resources. You might be taking some damage depending on what happens. And then eventually you're going to get where you find the thing you've been hunting. And then you put out you've got the player board, you put that monster out there, and then you put your monster hunters out there. And then you're playing cards to then try to attack it. And then there's a deck that resolves for the monster as it is, and it's got like target priorities and stuff. You can break through different parts of its armor, like changing what its attacks do and things like that. Oh, this game's badass. And then when it's done, you're like, okay, so what are all the resources that I got, right? Now you're figuring out how to craft new gear and equipment for the next time you go out hunting. So it rewards replayability. You can go out and hunt the same thing again and just make different choices, or you can go after like a more difficult version of that monster. Just really cool, nice. And I really appreciated this. It kind of
Steamforge games?
Yep, kind of came out of nowhere, and I liked it so much I went and bought the video game to play it on my
Great video
PS5, and was like, oh yeah, I see this.
You can see how it relates.
It's a really good translation, and I just have been really enjoying sort of those games where you kind of grind, get some stuff,
build up,
go back out. Now it's a little bit easier, I just really have been liking that a lot. And Monster Hunter World, the board game, really landed with me.
Wow. I think you've convinced me to check this out. I might borrow it and then keep it for myself and then not give it back to you.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah, nice. Hey, Mike, what's your 38?
My number 38 is Earth. This is one of my favorite engine building games. I just really appreciate all the different ways that you can build a scoring engine in this game because you are playing cards into a tableau that will ultimately fulfill a 4x4 grid. So that is 16 different cards that you can create a scoring engine off of. And it can be based on the color of the card or the column of the card or the row of the card or even diagonals of the card. There are so many different ways to score in this game, but you don't get bogged down in it. The game goes quick. You play simultaneously. There's a gigantic deck, so the replayability is just bonkers in this. It's pretty close to where I had it last year. I will say, however, my one criticism, and this isn't even of the game itself, I don't enjoy it that much on Board Game Arena because when I'm not playing real-time games. I usually make a move and then come back to it later.
A week.
It's so hard to. I haven't been playing lately.
We know.
We're still waiting on Tim's turn.
I didn't get an email telling me it was my turn. I thought it was Bob's turn.
Yeah, I just keep complaining about Mike, but every time I go in there, it's still Tim's waiting on Tim.
So I'm gonna take it right now.
Man, how about that? But on Earth, if you wait a day to make your move, you got to read back through every card in your tableau to remember which one in your hand, and you can have a massive hand. There's no limit to hand limit. It's hard to remember what cards you should be playing. So small quip there, but if you're playing a real-time game, it's fantastic. I love Earth. I really enjoy this.
I love how like almost everything in there is like a resource. Yeah, I mean, yeah, it's tag chasing, right? Because you're just trying to go after the tags and whatnot. But then like when you have your cards in your tableau, you can put cubes on them for sprouts. You can be like discarding cards, to use them for one thing, and then you can use those cards you discarded for as another resource. But they're also points at the end of the game, and so yeah, there's a lot going on in there. But I think Earth is fantastic.
Culling cards and putting them into just
your recycle bin.
Your recycle bin. I mean, the sprouts are
Big
like
points.
a viable way.
Trees.
The trees are a viable way to get you points.
Well, crap.
Oh, it's on Bob now.
It's on me.
There's just a lot of viable ways to win in this game, so it just makes replayability like darn near infinite to me. So, Earth is easily my number 38.
I'll take a turn later.
Number
All right.
37.
My number 37 is an oldie but a goodie. It's probably been on my list as long as I've been making lists. It's one of my, what's cousin, I should say, is one of my favorite video games of all time. But Sid Meier's Civilization is fantastic. The only thing against it is it's the older one, so it's squares and not hexes.
Oh, yeah.
But the new Civ game they made with hexes, I don't like as much. So I went with this version over the other version. It can be a little bit broken, so you do have to be careful with like what civilizations you pair with what, because with what like starting technologies and whatnot, because it can really tweak the board. Plus, I think it's the Greeks don't play them at all. Like they're just broken. Right?
Or let a new player play.
Okay, fine.
Against you? Yeah.
Sure, fine. But no, it's just a great version of Civilization. Classic, tech pyramids. You got to have 2 level 1s, you get level 2. You need, 3 level 1s, 2 level 2s, you get a level 3. So I love the tech pyramids. You're doing tile exploration, so as you're moving your people out from your home base, you're flipping tiles, seeing what resources are out there, the barbarians, and trying to fight them. It's been out for a long time. There's a lot of content for it, but it's a great game.
Yeah, good pick. Good pick. My number 37, also new to me this year, and stay tuned on that list. But I don't think you guys have played it, or maybe you only played it once. But Set a Watch. I really like this game.
Yeah.
You did play it. You
I
didn't
did.
like it. I think you had a bad go, and you should give it another shot. I'll just say that. But anyways, you are playing as like these different types of heroes with asymmetric powers, and you've got you're basically tending this campfire, and the brighter your campfire, the further out you can see, which is going to help, because then what's going to happen is somebody's going to stay back and man the camp while everybody else is going to go out and fight. The thing is everybody has to take a turn manning the camp. Because of rules. But yeah, everybody has to basically take a turn manning the camp. So you got to time that well when you do that. And also different people are going to be able to do different things better at the camp, so that's going to help too. And then there's going to be this row of monsters. You go to that phase, and that row of monsters, you're going to just, you're going to assign your dice or whatever. Was it dice? Yeah, you're going to assign your dice and try to kill the different guys. But again, they're going to have different abilities that proc when you kill them. Maybe it triggers something else. Maybe if a dude gets revealed, when it gets revealed, everybody takes damage. Different things are going to happen there. There's a ton of content for Set a Watch. There's a really cool campaign mode you can play, and this game's badass. I really enjoy it.
Yeah, I had a good time when we played it.
And I played it again at IndieCon, back in May.
Yeah.
And I played it with people that I did not know, and they wanted to play it, and it was awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, it was really good. We had a great time.
It's not necessarily the style of game that I go towards. I actually prefer the roll and write Merchants of Magic better.
I've never even heard of that.
Very fun.
Yeah, we know it.
Okay, my number 37. Tim taught me this one.
You're welcome.
It's Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea.
Yeah.
If I play this game more, I could see it going up, but every year that goes by, I don't play it. It just falls, unfortunately,
Sure.
which is kind of the nature of these lists. But a great 4X game by Gamelin Games, designed by Scott Alms. This is my favorite 4X game. I like that there's essentially zero luck other than the exploration tiles. But if you're going to win a battle before you even start it. So you're just kind of building up before you make these epic attacks against people. I like how different the factions feel, and there's tons of content for this game. They've even reprinted it. But there are so many different factions that you can deploy that all have a different feel. All of the little troops feel very different from each other. But Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, a epic feeling, almost feels like an RTS almost, but just a very epic and enjoyable 4X game. Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea.
If I knew you were going to pick that, Mike, I would have done something different.
Sorry. I see what you did there.
Oh boy!
I had to redo my whole list now.
That's right.
It's the joke that keeps on giving.
Hey, listen, man. When they're good, they're good.
That's right.
I'll talk about this way later, but yeah.
He will.
Good pick.
All right, so my number 36. My number 36 is actually like a Warhammer game, but it's a badass Warhammer game. It's basically a board game, but it's called Gore Chosen.
Gore Chosen.
And in this game, you are playing these big, crazy warrior, fighter, gladiator people, and you're in this gladiator pit, and you've got just crazy abilities. You're slamming people into walls against the spikes. You're pushing them into pits to take damage. And, like, there's just some just crazy moments where you could cut somebody's head off, and they have, like, these, like, last, like, death twitches, and they can still deal damage to you before they die, type of a thing.
Yes.
One of my favorite mechanisms in it, though, is it has a rage deck. And so, like, the angrier you are, the more cards you shuffle into this initiative deck. And then you flip them over, and it's whoever's card gets flipped over gets to take the action. And so certain abilities and moves will, like, take some of the rage out of you. Getting hit and taking damage will just make you more mad and give you more rage. And so you're putting more cards in the deck. And it's so much fun.
It's really good. This is in my 50 outside the 50.
Nice.
Yeah, I love this freaking game.
So we've played Tim's copy a lot. Our buddy Pete, who is fantastic at painting stuff,
my gosh.
assembled and painted
So
for him.
talented.
I ended up picking up a copy where most of it's assembled, but none of it is painted. So Pete, if you're out there,
Yeah.
yeah, it's only like 4 or 5 minis, so it's not
Right.
like it's like Zombicide where I'm asking you to paint like 1,000 zombies.
Right, no doubt.
But it's just a fantastic game. Some assembly required because it is put out by Games Workshop. But if you can find yourself like a painted version of it, or if you've got the talent and patience to do it,
Yeah.
definitely
Oh,
recommend
yeah. Great minis, too. Man.
Yeah, they're
it's
fantastic.
so much fun. All right. My number 36 is a game that just blew me away when I played it, and I had to have it. And that is Imperium. Now, I lumped classics and legends together. I mean, technically, I think I said classics, but it doesn't matter. Either one.
Yeah. Well, they have a newer one now too.
I haven't played the
Me either.
new one. But oh my gosh, this game is so cool. I really love it. And it's sort of like you're gonna pick a civilization. They're gonna come with like a deck, but then you can add cards to your deck. And then you're playing these cards out sort of in front of you that are going to give you a little bit of an engine building, tableau building kind of thing. But if you go too fast, you could screw yourself up. If you go too slow, I just really appreciate the timing. There's definitely player interaction as well. It's going to be messing a little bit with other people's tableaus. And all of the different civilizations play so differently. And they're really unique. I don't know how you would... Personally, for me, I couldn't pick between legends and classics. Like, I have all of mine sleeved in like one box.
All together, yep.
But I really appreciate this game. I love the complexity and the intricacies of it. I love the artwork and the vibe. This game just does a lot of things right for me. And this was definitely one where when I was doing the rankings, it's like, I need to sit down and play this game again, like right now. Like I really want to play this game again very soon.
Too long.
So we should just figure out time to do that.
Okay.
I don't think we've done a review for Imperium, so we should just do a review. That'd be a great excuse to play.
Sure. Okay.
Terrible idea.
Yeah.
Let's go. But yeah, that is my, what are we on? Number 36. That's my 36. Imperium. Classics or legends, either one. I would say if you can get both, just get both. But otherwise, find which box has the most civilizations you find
That you
interesting.
did. Right. Yep.
And go from there.
My number 36 is the number one thing that Tim is wrong about. It is Foundations of Rome.
I forgot to rate it.
Yeah, on your top 5 games that you hate the most.
Yeah.
I like the player interaction in this game. I like these games where you're trying to, much like Chinatown, where you're trying to take certain types of properties and put them adjacent to each other. But in Foundations of Rome, you have the power of the building is based on its size. So if it's just a size 1 building, it's not very powerful. So you want to try to get 2s, 3s, and 4s of properties next to each other so you can upgrade those buildings and you get more powerful effects from them. And sure, you can buy them out of the market, but sometimes that's not always going to happen. What's more fun is buying a property that someone else needs because they have the property adjacent to you, and then trading that property
Having
to
them steal
them.
it from you?
I don't love the stealing mechanic. It is definitely the major source of Tim's frustration.
Oh, don't
with
worry.
this
Here's
game.
a little coin that you can have that's worth a couple of points,
Yeah,
even though you just took 15 from me.
Trading and stealing
Thanks
is
for 4.
part of the same module. I don't like the stealing, but I would not play this game without the trading because that is what makes this
I think
game
you have
shine.
to have it with the trading,
That
yeah.
is what gives the player interaction in this game. Otherwise, I like how straightforward this game is. There's good player interaction. There's good engine building. And of course, it has a phenomenal table presence.
Yeah.
But you can get it cheap now with the Foundations of Metropolis.
Yeah.
And the
Just kinda
gameplay is excellent.
Now, I do actively dislike this game most days, but if I ever saw a cheap copy or had the opportunity to trade for like a nice one like Bob has, I would do it.
Yeah. Just to have it because it's
Yeah.
just amazing.
It looks great.
Yeah.
Looks
The player
great on
boards
table.
are phenomenal
Yeah.
and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've taken that to a lot of meetups and it's been a hit.
And Emerson Matsuuchi is just a really good designer.
Yeah.
Be our friend.
Number 35. So my number 35, I've only played it twice, but I've been itching to play it again because I really enjoy it. It's got deck building, it's got tile exploration, it's got some like just surprises where you can be like, haha, on somebody and they don't know what's coming. But Northgard, Uncharted Lands, it's Vikings again, so he might be back in now because the Vikings are not
listen,
as
it's cool. It's been like 10
it's
years.
cool again.
Yeah,
It's cool again.
It's,
Okay.
It's not as obnoxious.
But you've got your civilization and you're playing cards and you're going to use them to either like move your guys around, explore the map. You're going to use them to build buildings and gather resources. You're going to use them to fight off like maybe bears or wolves that might appear, or to fight other people and get them out of your way. But it's just a really neat game. Like I picked up the Warlords expansion, which adds asymmetrical player powers, asymmetrical player powers.
Hello.
But yeah, I really been wanting to get this back to the table again. I pulled it down from my room upstairs, and it's been on my shelf next to where I
like
sit.
moving it so you can
Yeah,
get
so
it.
so it's in my so I'm seeing it more. I'm like, yes, I want to play that. I want to play that. I haven't had a chance to play it this year. I'm very upset by that, but it still makes my list because I want to play it.
Nice. I'd play it. My number 35 might be my favorite roll and ride of all time, and that is Twilight Inscription. This game, I was so excited when I heard this game was coming out, and it did not disappoint. You got 4 massive boards that you are going to choose basically one to activate, and then when the die get rolled, you're going to assign those values somewhere on your board. Everybody's doing that simultaneously. But then doing something on this board might give me something over here, or it might give me something down here. This game feels so good. The really cool like dry erase or wet erase, like neon orange.
Are they wet or are they dry?
I think they're wet erase. I think you got to, so they don't smudge easy.
That's fair.
Like
Because you
like the
smudge
dry
that.
erase.
Oh my gosh. There's just so much going on in that board.
Yeah,
Very busy boards.
And there, you can find different, like, I'm gonna say specialize in like 2 boards when you play this. Like don't
try to do it all.
Yeah, the first time I played, I tried to do it all. I still had a great time, but I was nowhere close to being competitive.
Which is fine.
Once you start like really figuring out how to specialize and work some of those boards, man, it can be really cool. And I just really appreciate this game. And it's super fun. Asymmetric player powers, tons to choose from. And it's set in the Twilight Imperium universe, which is a really cool universe anyways.
Yep.
So fun IP.
This one fell really far for me because I haven't played it since it came out. We played it like 2 or 3 times in 2022. I have not played it since, so it just fell.
You'll have to fix that.
Yep.
Just play it again.
Yeah,
sometime
I would
soon.
love to play it again.
And it plays like an hour. Like the 3 of us playing,
It's
even
quick.
with you relearning.
Yeah, it
I
wouldn't
mean,
take that. I mean,
it
I have
wouldn't
to learn too.
It
But
wouldn't take that long. And I mean, honestly, we played this at like 5 or 6 players, and it was still like an hour and a half with Teach. It was fast.
It's not as crunchy as it looks.
No,
it's
it
pretty
was-
easy
the
to
other-
pick up.
Twilight
Yeah.
Imperium.
You get once you understand like sort of how each board works,
Yep.
and then the iconography, you're in. So good
we got to
point.
play this again.
Yeah.
Okay, my number 35 has been on my list ever since we started doing this, and it's Caverna the Cave Farmers. This is
Misery Cave.
one of that's Agricola. This is
That's Misery
not
Farm.
Misery. I mean, yeah, you got to feed workers, but it's not very punishing.
You can feed them stone with the right with the right room.
With the right building. Yeah, I just like how you can craft your strategy very early because all of the buildings are available every game. So it's not just did you draw the right card. It's just buy it before the other people, and that's your strategy for the game. And so I just like how open-ended this game is. It feels kind of like a sandbox. If one person starts working on the outside of the cave, start working on the inside of the cave. You have to do a little bit of both. You got to fill up that board because open spots count against you. Caverna is just a game that never gets old for me. Another timeless classic for me.
One of the things I like about it that I have found interesting about new games that are coming out is kind of like leveling up your workers. And in Caverna, you can upgrade their equipment. And so when you send them to an adventure, you're getting better and better.
That might be one of the
rewards.
first games I can think of
That did that.
That did that.
Yeah.
I really liked Caverna. I just hardly ever got it to the table.
Yeah.
But
it took a while.
I joke and I call it Misery Cave because I call Agricola
Right.
Misery Farm, and that's the
Same
the
artist
sequel.
and stuff. Yeah.
Not as punishing to feed. It's
No,
much
no,
easier.
yeah. fun. It's
it
more
is
fun.
More fun. But it
but-
is 90 to 120 at least from time wise.
Yeah, it's a
But also leveling up your workers and doing the adventuring strategy is one of my favorite
Oh,
ones.
it's so much
'cause
fun.
just every time you do it, you just get to pick whatever resource you want.
Yeah.
The higher level they are, the more choices you get. I love that
Yep.
mechanic.
Yep.
great pick.
Yep. All right, number 34. So I might catch a little bit of flack for this one because it's technically not out for retail yet, but I did get to play the finalized
You're lucky because
pre-production
I know this is a
copy.
good game.
And How to Save a World is fantastic. Mike's did. I know. You're gonna give me crap because it's not out yet. It's great. You have different strategies for trying to, there's this impending comet. You can try to build a laser to shoot it down. You could try to build a shield to protect the planet, or you can just GTFO off the planet and go that way. But you're taking actions to move towards those steps and putting cubes into a bag. And there's points where you're pulling cubes out. And those cubes are either going to move those items on the progress track, or it's going to move the asteroid closer to the planet. And then you have things where you can do certain actions on the world. But if you're building the shield or the laser, you got to be out on the planet. And there's different actions that will do your movement like back and forth. And it's really neat. It was done really well. And I'm excited to get my hands on the final version, which should be getting on our boat soon. So that's why I kind of allowed it to stay on there, because there was technically another game that I played this year that was like way up on my top list. Was like, it's not even close to being out yet, but I've played a lot of the versions of it, so I left it off. But this one here, I figured is close enough that it might make it here by the end of the year, but it's probably going to be early January.
I've been
by the time this
working
actually-
in my brain sort of like on a way to do the list of like games that aren't out yet that are coming out that we're very excited
Separate
about.
list. Separate
Yeah,
list.
but-
separate list. But yeah,
When does it fulfill?
It's
like
filling
quarter-
now.
Okay.
Q1 next
Okay.
year.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just want to say Burnt Island crushed it this year.
Yeah.
Yeah, they did,
I
they
mean,
did.
everything they put out and Kids Table that we got to play that we previewed was awesome. And the only reason I didn't put them on this list is I stuck to retail available games. That being said, if you're not paying attention to the games coming out of Toronto, I don't know what you're doing, because their board game scene is
Oh
huge.
my God, it's crazy.
Bob
Yeah.
and I got a chance to hang out there earlier this year. Had a blast. The scene there is awesome. There's so many awesome designers coming out of Toronto.
Yeah.
And if you don't know Yuval Grinspun yet, you will when
will.
you get a chance to play How to Save a World. That game is insanely good.
Yeah, it's really good.
Yeah,
It's
but that's the
really
only
good.
game that I put on there because, like I said, it's so close to fulfillment that, and like I said, I did play the final version of it. So
For a first-time design, he crushed it. The
And when
game's
you
so
say-
good.
And you say retail, like available only retail, but you mean at one point in time? Because like
Some of these
you're
are
not
out of
buying,
print.
you're not buying container.
That's true.
No.
yeah,
They-
he just meant you've
they
had a
fulfilled the
window.
backers.
Yeah, that's fair. I was just
They
giving you a hard
got
time.
they got a legitimate retail release.
Yeah, at
Correct.
one point in time, you could have walked into a store and bought it.
Yeah,
Correct.
Yeah.
You still can if you want to overpay, get container, but
yeah.
Fair. Totally
that's
true.
what I mean.
Okay, speaking of games that are out of print but are filling, but this game already has been out. Second edition, they had a Kickstarter for it this year, and they released an expansion with it, which is how I learned about this game. and that is Ostia.
Yeah.
Holy crap! This game is really good.
Yes, mine's coming soon. It's on the boat.
They're on the way. This game's really freaking good. It has this amazing like sort of action selection mechanic where you're moving
Mancala,
those. You're moving those workers around there, and then and the way those actions fire off, and then you're moving up, across that board. Oh, it feels so good.
Yes.
It's so crunchy. It's so satisfying. I love the vibe. I love everything this game does.
The little wooden treasure chest, the wooden boats, and like I said, I had never played a game with Mancala action selection thing before, and that was fantastic.
God, blew my brain away. Like, just what?
Yes, I backed it.
Oh,
after we did the preview, I ended up backing it.
Oh,
And
it's so
that's how I
good.
know it's on a boat.
Yeah.
My boat is on a boat.
I need to play this. I was so jealous when you guys previewed this without me. I love Mancala in games.
We can play it whenever you want, man.
Yep,
I
as soon as it shows
really like this game. Well, I've still got the...
Oh, the early one?
Yeah, well, it's the prototype of the expansion, and then
Got you. It's
they
the
sent me
actual base game.
They sent me the base game, but the one that they had to send, the box was like destroyed.
That's right, okay.
So they're sending me a box.
Got you. That's funny.
To put
Everything
it in. Yeah.
Nice.
But I still have it all like right there in the shipping box, and I will never get rid of that because I might
fantastic.
once they give me the box, I
Right.
might get rid of that
You can
shipping
give it
box.
to
But
Yeah, you have the shipping box.
you have a shipping box. Tell you what, it's great. But this game's so freaking good.
Yeah, it's good.
I wasn't sure if you. I mean, I remembered I thought you liked it, but I couldn't remember like how much you liked it.
Yeah.
But man, I really love this game.
If the ship hits the U.S. port before this video is edited, I'll allow it. Just kidding.
Oh, I was gonna say Ostia's already out.
Been out. Yeah,
Ostia's already out.
Expansion.
I'm not pulling out How to Save the World. This game's out.
That definitely would have been in my top 50. But you'll have to wait till next year, I guess.
Next year.
Yeah.
Or our
Breaking
best
breaking the rules.
best of 2025 releases. You'll definitely see it there.
Right?
All right. My number 34 is the biggest mover. This one moved up more than 20 spots. It's Nucleum.
Ooh,
Yeah,
okay.
I know how this gets compared to Brass all the time, and people are like, how can anybody like this game more than Brass? I do, but it's a completely different game. Route building. That's the only similarity. Route building.
Yeah.
The
It's got a
action
train in it.
The action selection is insanely different, and that's actually one of the things I really like about it because you've got these double-sided tokens. You're just going to choose one, play it on top of your board, and you get to choose the two actions, one on each side. But the thing is, you can buy more action tokens, and that's my favorite part.
Yeah.
Is you're building out you're buying better options on your turn and placing those out to get these actions. You also can take those tiles, flip them over, play them as a route, and if the colors match on either side, you'll get to do the action again, and so you're getting those satisfying combos that I love in games. The engine building is very satisfying. The route building feels really good. I just like so many things that this game does, and when you get an engine churning in this game, it is very fulfilling. So Nucleum moved up from the 50s and is a new entry into my top 50.
Yeah, I like how one trying to power up buildings, right? So powering buildings is a big way that you score points and everything. And so you can do it by spending money and buying coal or by using your uranium that you're able to mine out. But then also, as like Mike was saying, you're playing these little tokens above your board and taking your actions. When you do your recall actions, depending on how far your tracks are and how many of the tokens you put across the top, that's how strong your recall action is. So like the more you do like the middle track with the money on it, then the more money you're going to get when you recall. But if you only place a few tokens to the top, you don't get a full powered one. So you got to take more actions to power those up to make your recall action stronger. And that is really interesting to me.
That's nice.
Plus just the home run design team of David Turchi and Simone Luciani.
Yeah,
I mean, come on.
Forget about
But
it.
if you think this game is too close to Brass and that's why you haven't
don't
checked
think
it
it
out
is.
yet, just not. Just check it out.
Check it out.
Nucleum is a fantastic game.
Yep. Good pick. Right. Number 33. Number 33 has been talked about already in our top 50. And that's very dubious of Tim to do that.
Yeah.
But dubious was fantastic.
it's so good.
We mentioned it. I think Tim mentioned it.
It was early. It was my 50.
It was your 50, yeah. But you're given two like classes, and you're giving two like jobs, and you're gonna pick one you are, and then pick one you're not of each, and then you're gonna write that down, and then there's a series of questions, and you're answering it as if like you're in character, and people are gonna try to guess what you are and what your job is, and you got to be obvious, but not too obvious, because you want as many people to match with you, but not everybody, because then that's how you get the maximum amount of points. And
So
it's
play with
a
just
lot of
one
fun.
dumb person.
That's right. You
just
just get
kidding.
one clueless person and then a bunch of people that know you really well.
Yeah.
And you're gonna rock this game. But no, so while we were at Gen Con 2, I noticed they have a second version of it that has newer, because there's a fantasy, a Victorian, and then a
Sci-fi or
sci-fi
something
one
like that, yeah.
But I saw, and that's in a black and blue box. They had one that had a green box, and it's I believe a European release. And I talked to Bree, and they said they're not sure they're going to bring it to America for a full release. So hopefully
So
they
we'll
do.
just have to start watching at conventions then. If you see it,
Yeah,
then
if you
just buy
see it, grab it. Yeah, because like I said, we really enjoyed this game. Played it a bunch, and it plays like 8 people or 6
Yeah,
people.
it
plays a pretty good player count.
It plays well at a high player count.
Yeah, and it doesn't really take much longer either. But it's a bunch of fun. So especially if you if you know people that are like creative in that kind of tell stories type of
Oh,
thing.
it's so good.
Yeah.
So good. Like weaving a tale.
Yeah.
All right, my number 33 is actually the second edition of a game that I've already talked about, and that is Descent: Journeys in the Dark.
You put both the sense on.
I did.
Wow.
I did. To me, they are different enough.
Okay.
Because while Descent Second Edition is, you can play app driven without somebody being sort of the overlord,
Right.
Character, or you can use the app and you can throw in all the expansions you've got, and you can have it just make up a thing, to then run you through, and you can play solo, you can play with other people. The amount of I don't have everything, but I have a lot of stuff for second edition, and just all the different characters and monsters you can mix and match in there. Super fun. I just love this game. This is a very comforting game for me. Like, I can just bust out my Descent, put up my iPad, and just play for a couple hours. Just go through this, and it's there's things that it definitely doesn't do as well as like the third edition. Which is really good. I've just lived in the second edition game so much more that I feel like it's rated higher. And this year I wanted to rate them separately because I was honestly kind of curious where they would land. Like in the out of the 160 games I rated, it's like, well, I'll just throw them both in and just see what happens. And I didn't want to cheat either game because I feel like both of them. If you found Descent Second Edition like cheap somewhere, it's worth it. Just kind of put it out there if you're interested in a dungeon crawler. If you can find third edition, also worth it. It's great. So I would highly recommend either one. I think I just through the ranking leaned into the second one a little bit more just because I'd spent so much more time in there, and playing the different characters and everything. But I just really enjoy it. I really enjoy that style of game, and have a great time every time.
Descent Second Edition was one of my gateway games, so
Yeah,
can't blame me there.
It's good stuff, man. It's really. I've never played first edition. Probably never will because
At this point?
I've just not really heard that many amazing things about it.
Good luck finding it.
Yeah, and also good luck finding it. But
All right, my number 33 is an old game that's been out for a long time, and I just got to get it to the table with these guys. It's Imperial.
yeah, I need to play this.
Imperial looks like a war game, and what you're doing is putting countries into battle, but in a way that you can profit off of them the most when you take the tax action. Because what you're doing is buying stocks of different countries. You may start by controlling one country, but you never have control of one particular country throughout the entire game. It may be possible that somebody buys a majority of stock in the country you start with, and now you no longer control that country anymore. They are now performing the actions for that country. But you're still going to get points based off of the stocks that you hold and how far you can get them up the multiplier track. And so what that means is you're actually putting troops into battle to take over territory so that you can tax the territories, but then you're killing the troops because you don't want to pay taxes for the troops that are alive. So you're profiting off of war in Imperial. It is cutthroat. It has tons of interaction. It can be mean, and it is so fun. I love how you're basically foreshadowing who's doing the best. I'll buy stock of that country. And if they continue to do well, guess what? Your stock is going to score you a lot of points. So
There's a similar game I think Bob and I will have ranked higher. Similar things.
Imperial by Rudiger Dorn. I have also Imperial 2030, which I have not played. I've only played the original version. Ignore that hideous box. If you can still get a copy of this from Rio Grande, I highly recommend Imperial.
Right on. Yeah, I want to play this. I've heard you talk about it before. Sounds super fun.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to play it.
It's not going anywhere. It's fun.
Kind of like the idea of those games where it's not being the country and trying to win, but betting on who's going to
Yeah,
win.
seriously.
Yeah.
And manipulating that, know, is super fun.
Yeah.
It is. All right, that's going to take me to number 32. My number 32 gets compared to another game quite a bit, which I could see why, because it was literally just a retheme. But in my opinion, Unfathomable
Oh, it's so good.
is better. I love Unfathomable mostly because of the chaos deck that you have. There are a lot of other like hidden trader types of games where it's a lot more difficult for the others, right? I think The Thing is one of those where it can be really hard to sway people to take you on a quest when they're suspicious of you. But that chaos deck in Unfathomable is going to add cards whether you were a good guy or not, and then the suspicions start to fly. I love the theme of how it works where you're on the ship and you're trying to move the ship along, and then all the monsters can be in the water, and then every time you move the ship, all the monsters are going to shift back along the side of the boat to simulate the boat moving forward, and it's just done really well. And they're trying to manage your people on the boat, your food, your sanity, and your fuel, and then trying to get to your destination before you lose your mind. And it's
I'll talk about this game in a future episode, man.
It's great.
It's so good.
It's very good.
I love this game.
Yep.
And I'm with you. I think Battlestar is fine.
It's
I
fine,
think it's
but
really good. But
for the price, I would rather just play Unfathomable anyway.
and they do a great job with
Yep.
it. It's not like it's a
Inferior
lesser
game.
Yeah,
It's not a lesser game at all. Now, I mean, if you're like a huge Battlestar Galactica fan, fine. Otherwise, Unfathomable, fan-freaking-tastic.
Yeah, great. I'm really glad that this has had staying power with you as well, because I have always really sort of been a champion for
We got to
this
play it
game.
at JuliaCon last time we were there.
Yeah.
That was fun.
Must have been nice.
It was.
That's why I moved up, right?
Must have been nice to be
That
there.
probably helped, yeah. It was fresher in my mind.
So my number 32 is an oldie now, but a goodie. I freaking love this game, and I will play it anytime anybody wants to. And that is Clank, a deck building adventure.
Okay.
So this is OG Clank,
Okay.
the first Clank.
Wow.
Not the best Clank.
Not the
No, it's
best
not.
one. So you put all these
Ooh.
separate too then, huh?
I did.
Okay.
I
See,
did.
I combined. There's a bunch of the games that have like multiple versions of ones out. I picked my favorite one, added that to my list.
Well,
and see
mostly
what's
because these are like standalones and not
Sure.
expansions, right? I'm not like, oh,
I know you love a
the
standalone expansion.
the Mummy's Tomb.
Yeah.
None of those. I just did like Clank in Space, and Catacombs all separately,
Okay.
and threw them all. I didn't want to combine them. Again, I wanted them to kind of stand on their own legs, because I do feel like each one does stuff differently enough that they are their own games and are going to appeal to different people for different reasons.
Okay.
So for me at 32, the original deck building Clank is just an awesome game. It's got a few flaws that have been exposed where people can kind of complain about you running down and like
Grab
grabbing
the first thing and getting back.
going back.
The fast strategy.
But it's fine. If they do that, then fine. The game's over in 45 minutes or less, and play something else, because you don't want to play Clank with that person ever again.
Right.
Lesson learned.
Right.
But hey, it was,
Or just try to also go the fast strategy.
or yeah. And
I'll get it first this time, jerk.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's how you wanna play.
It's fine. If they go the fast strategy, you're done quickly. Who cares? But this is a game I really enjoy. I love the jokes on the cards, you know what I mean? But then, like, just that, again, that push your luck, that drawing out of the bag, of the cubes, because you're trying to get other people's, cubes in the
there,
bag and
yeah.
get yours out of there before, I don't want to buy anything from the market because I don't want that freaking dragon to come up, and now we're going to have to draw cubes. So, like, I'm just going to wait.
Yeah, I'll just buy a kick.
Yeah. It's so much fun. I really love this game. I have always had a great time playing this game, and I really appreciate what it is and what it has done for the hobby. I cannot wait to play I'm so far behind now because everybody's getting their acquisitions incorporated.
I was just gonna say, side note, I got my Legacy 2.
But I gotta play my Legacy 1 still, which
I've been trying.
You know,
I seem to recall a conversation a few weeks ago when I said we should play Clank Legacy. And I'm like, why? That's an older game. Why do we want to play that?
Not me.
No, it was Mike. Mike totally said that.
Oh man, the tire tracks on your back so fast, so fast.
But that'd be why I wanted to play Clank Legacy because I knew my 2 was showing up and we would need to get to it. So.
I wish Bob took his turns as fast as he did throwing you under the bus.
Me
man.
too. Wait, what? Hey, I kind of felt that right over my foot.
But anyways, Clank is really good. I love it. It's by 32.
All the Clanks do stand alone as excellent games. I probably should separate them, but there's one I like more than all the others,
Yeah,
so I
it's
just
totally
ranked
fair.
the one.
Same.
That's totally
That's
fair.
the one I ranked.
I liked definitely 2 of them enough that I thought that they had a
Fair.
chance to land.
Fair.
Fair enough.
Okay, my number 32 has already been talked about. It's Lords of Vegas.
Heyo.
Lords of Vegas is a ton of fun. That theme really works for me. I like being able to gamble to other people's casinos. And again, property adjacency, when you're just trying to build properties next to each other, and that allows you to upgrade the property, and you are playing against other players and trying to take those properties from them. That player interaction, it just really works for me. So Lords of Waterdeep has some of the same things that I've talked about with Chinatown and Foundations of Rome, of just getting those properties adjacent. It just always makes
it.
tense player interaction, and I love that in games.
Yeah.
Especially Lords of Vegas, right?
Yeah, Lords of Vegas is much better than
Lords of Waterdeep.
You said Waterdeep the second time around.
Yeah.
Did I?
You did.
Easy to do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But no,
Good thing I don't have Lords of Hellas on my list. Or
Yeah.
would really be getting
Yeah.
confused.
Like all over the place. And it's really
yeah.
crazy when the Greeks invade the casinos.
That's right. But no, I love that when you can build a casino next to somebody and you go, I'm going to do a remodel. Oh, now we match and we're the same. And then it's going to merge as one casino and I'm going to have that higher die. And now,
And that's why the
I'm
up expansion is good though too, because it really
Right.
forces people to invest in that more and not get that cheap takeover.
I will never not play with that
Yeah,
that expansion.
it's great.
Must
really good.
play with that expansion.
All right. So that's going to take us to the last one of this list.
Yes.
Number 31. My number 31, Thunder Road Vendetta.
Whoa, I got this way higher.
Maximum Chrome.
Way higher.
This is just chaotic racing fun. Like when we first played this game, we had such a blast with it because you've got like 3 cars. You got your little guy, your medium guy, and you got your bigger one. You're ramming into each other. You're rolling dice to see like which direction they're getting shoved into. You can try to attack people. You're pushing them into like obstacles. You're first, I think 4 or 5 times we played, nobody reached the end of the.
I've
of the
never
map.
seen anybody reach the end of the
It
map.
was just kind of like a last man standing kind of a thing. But then there's also like a big rig expansion you can get, which is super cool. The motorcycle gang, it gives you more vehicles to use. And now I just got my expansion.
I got the Carnival of Chaos.
Yeah, the
We've
Carnival
gotta
of
do that
Chaos
one.
is it looks
Thunderdome.
like it looks so cool. Yeah, like it's just a fantastic fun game. The production value on it is amazing.
Oh,
The insert is fantastic. So insert wise, with the I don't know if did you get the folded insert or did you get the lid lifter? Have you opened your Carnival of Chaos yet and added it to your box?
No, I haven't added it to the box. It still just have it in its own box.
Okay,
Is
so-
it supposed to just stack on top?
Yes, so it'll stack right on top, and it comes with a folded piece that goes like around the outside of your box, and so your box has about that much lid lift to it. But they're also had an option for a folded space insert, which will fit everything, including the Chaos expansion, with no lid lift.
You had no lid lift, didn't you?
Yeah, so it came with the one, and I bought the folded space. I've been torn on whether I want to do it or not because now I have this basically shelf that has that and heat on it, and with the heavy rain expansion inside there, there's lid lift on both those boxes. So I just leave like one cube of racing games with lid lift, or do I do something about that?
Sure.
It's just like the conundrum, you know.
Yeah, I mean, the problems we live in.
I know.
In
But it's a great
today's
game. Check it out.
Oh, it's so good. I'll talk about it a lot later. This game definitely is amazing. My number 31 is new to me this year, and therefore new to this list. But man, I've gotten a lot of miles out of this game. I love a game where we could sit at a table and start yelling or chanting. Sausage, 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 sausage. I'm talking about Sausage Sizzle from 25th Century Games. They got it's a reprint technically, of an older game. But man, you are just a bunch of like Aussie critters, just throwing a sizzle, and you're throwing them sausages on there. This is a press your luck, rolling dice, and you've got like 6 little animals. And you're going to roll your dice. You got to lock at least one. You can lock a number or you can lock one of the animals. The numbers go from 2 to 5, with there being 2 sausages on each 6-sided die to replace the 1s and 6s. Sausages are only worth 1 point unless you have all sausages. Then they're worth 7 points. And the thing is you're going to lock in your lowest value die.
You score your lowest value.
Yeah,
die.
that's what I mean. You're going to score your lowest value die. So you can try to get like all 5s.
Yeah, it's like shooting the moon, right?
Yeah, but you can try to get all 5s, but if that last one, you roll a sausage and all that's 1.
Yeah.
And then on the other set of dice, you're rolling that are going to have the animals. And so if I score my crocs, and I got 2 crocs, and then I only have that 1 sausage. Well, now that's 2 times 1, 2 points. But now I also can't score those crocodiles anymore the rest of the game. Now I got to go to like the quokkas or the snake or whatever else is you got left. This game's super fast, very easy to teach, and very engaging. Everybody's involved because they want to chant, and jinx you as you're rolling.
Right.
Sausage Sizzle is just freaking delightful. And I absolutely love this game.
You can score your Crocs, Tim. Just don't wear your Crocs.
I will never, ever wear Crocs. Ever.
All right, that's good. Ian O'Toole art.
Yeah.
Okay. 25th Century Games.
Yeah, really good.
All right. My number 31's been on my list every year. It's Role Player.
Hey-o.
Okay.
The theme is what really drew me into this game, and I love the play on words. You're building a role-playing character. So you're choosing their dexterity and their intelligence and their wisdom and their strength and all that kind of stuff. But really, it's a dice drafting game, and the dice, the pip values, determine how high those attributes are. And that's one way of scoring. But every single time you slot a die, all of those attributes have special abilities that allow you to mitigate the dice, flip their locations, re-roll them, move things around. And it's just one of those games where you can never do everything you want to do. There's always going to be something that you couldn't quite finish.
Yes.
But buying the materials out of the market to build armor sets just feels really thematic. Also, never play this without the Monsters and Minions expansion.
I need to play it with the Monsters and Minions.
It adds a finality to the game where after you've done all of the dice drafting and you have filled your character sheet, you're going to have one big roll off, which is your attack against the final boss. And there's dozens of these to choose from. The higher you roll, the more points you score at the end. And it really is just one big roll and count your total, and that will equal a certain point tiers. But it really gives it a nice finality. Plus, if you can't find cards in the market that you like, the minions are a thing you can attack, and they'll give you insight onto some of the ways to get more dice against the final monster. So it just adds a lot more strategy to an already great game. Role Player, my number 31.
Well done.
Yeah.
Great pick. All right, that's everything for
Yeah.
today. Oh my gosh.
Yikes.
I freaking love all these games. It's
I
so
know.
much fun.
This is one of the best times of the year. I get to talk about all these games we really enjoy.
Oh, I love these games so much.
Yes.
So guys, let us know in the comments what are some of your favorite games that we talked about. If we haven't talked about your favorite game yet, well, I mean, stay tuned. We got a couple more of these lists we're still
give
doing.
us time. Yeah.
Yeah, we'll get to it. And if we get through the whole thing and we still didn't talk about your favorite games, well, then start tuning into the live streams on Wednesdays, where the three of us will do our 50 after 50.
Yep.
And have a few beverages and play some games, and we have guests on all the time. It's super fun. So thank you very much. And also remember, like, subscribe, do all those things. For the Board Game Rundown, I've been Tim.
Bob.
Mike.
Thanks for watching.